What up, bruh? What up, dude? What up, bro? But it's so expensive and easy to lose. So is the Protoss army. It's not like the Protoss army is cheap and easy to replace. I'll get to a fight and I'll tell you guys how we micro it. I'm gonna pause this really fast, okay? Hold on. Stop the music. Really quick. Lemma. What league are you in? Because with the mindset, like the one you're showing in chat right now, my guess is your league is probably something diamond or below. And if you have that mindset, you'll never promote. You gotta expand your horizons. Are you gonna do Bronze GM this season? I'm not gonna do Bronze GM every season. It was more of a patch thing. Alright, boys. Alright. My thoughts on Alpha Tester Bot Bitch is it's really good. It's fucking good. I've already talked about it so many times today. It's just, no one can play like it. It's really good. It's fucking solid. Alright. So now here's my first fight. He is chasing my army down right now to try and kill me. So here's how we're gonna micro this, okay? My control groups. I have 3 of them right now for units. I have all my ground army in one. My hydras and stuff like that, and my whatever zerglings I have as well. I think most of them are dead now, or they're all stuck back here. Group 3 is my infestors, and group tilde is my viper. And the reason why I have it like this, and instead of 1, 2, 3, is because I have routines or specifics or whatever the fucking. I have exact hotkey groups for numbers that mean something. I don't just put shit in groups like 1, 2, 3, because if you do that, if like 1, 2, 3, this game is Hydra, Infestor, Viper, and then next game 1, 2, 3 is Ling, Bane, Mita, and then next game is Hydra, Ling, Bane, and then a game after that is Hydra, Infestor, fucking Roach. It's gonna get really confusing when you start adding, like if you ever transition your army into something else. So if I was on, let's say, Hydra, Ling, Bane, and now I want to add in Infestors, but my 3 groups are already used, it's gonna get really fucking weird really fast if I have different groups all the time, and I'll be like, where do I put the Infestors now? This feels weird. So basically I have specific things I always bind my group to. Group 1 is my universal auto-attacking army, okay? It is always my auto-attacking army, and it usually consists of things like my roaches, my hydras, my zerglings, my ultras, my fucking sometimes my banes are in it, sometimes my banes are not. That's kind of specific. It's more of a ZVZ thing. But things like that. The reason why it's not in my group 1 is all the time is because in ZVZ you don't want your banelings always moving forward, because you could just waste them into like individual lings and shit. Anyways, we'll focus on this game, okay? So just know I have always specific things I do with my control groups. Always. And group 2 is saved for my corruptors. Group 4 is saved for my broodlords. I'm not going to bind anything to those until I get those units. But for now, group 1 is my ground. Group 2 is empty. Group 3 is my infestor. Group 4 is still my upgrades for now, because that's what I do early game. And group 5 or group 0, which is also tilde, which is the key to the left of 1 above tab, is I rebound this to that hotkey, even though it appears as 0. Is that's my viper. So here's how I'm gonna micro this. I'm gonna go 1, back up, and as it backs up, I'm gonna go 1, spread with my mouse. So 1, click here, right click, and then I'll probably green box it and go right click there, green box, right click there. So I'll just spread it out, and then as he engages on my creep, because I can see him coming, it's my vision, He's going to come in closer, and I'm going to go group 3. And I'm going to time it to where I'm going to land a fungal on his army without running my infestor deep into enemy lines, basically. So we'll let it get a little bit closer here. So group 1 should spread. And now my infestor could fungal easily where it is right now. If these voiders keep coming forward. He can't see my infestor, by the way. And he's also telling us shit to go all the way into my base deep right now. My infestor perfect fungal spot would be in about half a second or 1 second. I would fungal like right there. And the void rays will be flying into it. Because also keep in mind, if you're going to ever fungal air units, it's not ever based off of where the air unit is. It's kind of easy to see it. But if I were to fungal, let's say right there, I would miss the void rays. Just so you guys know. Because it's not actually hitting air like that. All spells in this game go off of a ground pixel, not a air pixel. So if I want to fungal these void rays, I'm not going to cast it right there. Instead, I'm going to cast it right there. Because that's where the void rays actually are. See these little circles on the ground? That's where their ground pixel is. That's where I want to go for. That's it. That would fungal all the voids right there. Not there. So I'm going to be having my infestor cast a fungal like right there, because these little fucking circles are going to get in there really soon. And then I'm also lining up. I'm telling my Viper already, just one of them. I'm telling my Vipers to move in a little bit closer, and I'm telling already one of them to Parasitic Bomb before I even cast the fungal. Just one Viper. I'm not spamming it. Just one. So what's going to happen is my infestor is going to launch a fungal, and then immediately, almost at the exact same time, or just barely after, a Parasitic Bomb is going to go off. And I've already told it to do that, so I don't have to tab to it and do it like right after I cast the fungal. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, Hydras, back up like I did. Infestor, fungal. And at the same time I tell my infestor to fungal it the first time, I have a Viper, go. So it's going to time it. And then it's going to, I'm going to like go back to focusing on my Hydras and tell them to A-move and concave and spread out. And then I'm going to immediately, which is going to only take me about 1 second or maybe 1.5 seconds to do that. And then immediately I'm going to cast another fungal only about 2 seconds after I casted my first one. Even before the fungal's over, because it has travel time. And even if I overlap this fungal by about, let's say half a second or less, it's still worth it to not maximize that last second of damage. Because what I really want to maximize is that his Hydras get fungaled and cannot run away. So that not only my Hydras can easily punish them for that, but also my Parasitic Bomb does maximum damage. So watch it how it's executed now. Back up, fungal first, immediate Parasitic Bomb should be going in right now. I didn't do it the way I said I would. I did it after, that's bad. I should have done it right away. But now I'm chaining a fungal. I have one bomb in there, just one bomb in there, and now I'm chaining a fungal. And then I just threw my second Parasitic Bomb in about 4 seconds later on another unit. I just threw it in there. 4 to 5 seconds later, you throw in your second Parasitic Bomb. It does last for 7 seconds, but always waiting, or sorry, lasts for 7 seconds. But always waiting till the last split second to cast a new one is not always a great idea. You want to chain the spells. You don't want to perfectly do it. You want to chain it. Because chaining it means that he's taking maximum damage all the time, and there's no chance that that's not happening. Ideally, having it perfectly timed to where it's always 7 seconds, then 7 seconds, then 7 seconds would be great for a Viper, and 3 seconds, then 3 seconds, then 3 seconds would be great for Fungal. But the game doesn't always work like that. Sometimes control is more important, and you don't have the ability to cast perfectly, and no counter pressure is going to happen. Sometimes there's a lot of counter pressure that can happen, and you need to make sure your spells get off and do a lot of damage. So we're casting Fungals about every 2 to 2.5 seconds, and we're casting our Parasitic Bombs about every 5 seconds. Which is going to maximize our damage that we're able to do into his army without having major risk of just delaying our spells. Because the worst thing you want is to save your energy on your spells and have your shit die. You don't want to spam it all at once, and you don't want to wait too long. You want to have a good balance, which is going a little bit under duration, which is, again, like 2.5 to 5 seconds. 2.5 for Fungals and like 5... 2 to 2.5 for a Fungal and 5 for a bomb. And then you can see the damage of all of it. We're just crushing his army right now. Spell damage won that fight. And now he actually missed the recall on the mothership a little bit. So now we're kind of just chasing it down. And we actually kill it with one last fungal. And notice, there's a perfect example right there. Notice how we launch a fungal. You might think that you need to hit the mothership itself, like actually cast it on the mothership itself. Look where my fungal lands, and we hit it. Okay, so there's the mothership. Here comes the fungal. Look at where this fungal lands. Does that look like this fungal is gonna hit this mothership? This fucking fungal is gonna land like right here, or it's like right there. It's completely off the mothership, right? It's like this thing looks like it should totally whiff, but again, it's off the circle, not the unit itself, which is why it could be misleading to fungal air units, and we still hit it anyways. It just blew up right there, and we hit the mothership because again, it hit the circle. And now the mothership dies. So that's a big thing to know if you don't know that, on how to actually properly cast spells on air units. Now this is very easy, straightforward. I group my corruptors up and I focus fire carriers. And I also I should have A-moved my lings right now. I actually let a bunch of drones die that didn't need to die here. I also could have burrowed them. So that was a bit of a sloppy move by me, but yeah, I definitely should have saved my drones. These lings have level 1 adrenal gland, and these zealots are 0/0/0. Not even charge. I could have easily killed those zealots with my lings. We just, again, we focus fired some carriers as he ran away. It's all good. I just remade new drones too, so we're still at a good, healthy account of workers. Now we'll speed it up to the next fight. And now you can see I have corruptors in 2. And he's still going for a Void Ray carrier-based army. Spells should always be cast on the Void Ray, not the carrier. A carrier has 450 overall health. A Void Ray only has 250. A carrier is not going to die anytime soon to fungal parasitic bomb. It's going to damage it. It'll help damage it. But it's not going to fucking die. It's going to take, like I said before, about 12 seconds of parasitic bomb. 12 seconds of parasitic bomb does about 240 damage. And fungal combination. Like the caster combo does about 240 damage every 12 seconds. So that's like gonna take a long time to kill a fucking carrier. It's gonna take like fucking 24 seconds or so to kill a carrier, roughly. And how long are fights usually 24 seconds long in StarCraft? One army's usually dead well before that. Like our fights usually end pretty quick in this game, if they collide. But a Void Ray, however, will die in 12 seconds. Like it will actually be at that popping point where it'll explode. So, and also Void Rays do more damage to corruptors than carriers do. So popping the Void Rays is definitely more important. So here, this was me going, okay, notice how he hasn't killed any of my creep yet? This means he does not have an observer. There are no observers on this map. Is there even a robo? Okay, he's finally now making an observer. But up to this point, there has not yet been an observer. So what I did here was I went to go focus fire a carrier, and I wanted to bait out his Templar, and I wanted to literally burn as much energy on his Templar as I could. So what I was going to do is I was going to try and neural parasite a high energy Templar and feed back the rest, while focus firing a carrier to bait him out and then run away. Because he can't do anything about my infestors if they're burrowed if he doesn't have a detection. So that's what we do. We group up our corruptor, we focus a carrier, we kill one, we run away, he chases, I neural, and I go feedback, feedback, feedback. And now he stormed me 2 times, I'm running away. But now all of his Templar, this one that I just feedbacked with is pretty much burnt. All the other Templars are burnt as well. So he just goes, fuck it, let's make Archons. And that was I didn't mean to do that. And then we leave. And now we don't really have to worry too much about a lot of storms being built up in this army. And now as soon as he starts killing my creep, now we know he has detection, so we can't do shit like that anymore. I need to actually make my infestors stay in the back. And we can see him pushing. Now ideally I would like to have a couple of broodlords for this fight. But I don't have. I should have made a second spire a lot sooner to make a greater spire with, but I don't have it. It's whatever. Instead what I do is I spread my corruptors out to avoid the new storm and Archon damage, and then I will bomb and fungal his army again. And again, it all starts the same way. I throw one bomb and fungal at the same time. I can cast the bomb and then cast the fungal right around the same time, because this it's. You know, a bomb is easy. You can literally line up the fungal, but a bomb is easy. You just throw it on a unit, and it's fucking done. It'll cast it on the unit always. It's not like I bomb the area. A fungal, however, needs to be aimed, so fungal needs to have a little bit more of your attention. So you need to aim at the right spot with a fungal, and then you just chain it the exact same way we said before. So right now what I'm doing is I'm spreading my army out before this fight starts. I'm going to grab my units and pre-spread. Like this. So now my concave is massive, and now what I can do here now that he's right in my face is I can go group 2, A move right there. Just get into the fight. I want my corruptor group to go towards his army, and I want it to be in a way where the whole concave that I've just made is gonna go. So all these corruptors they'll start flying this way down, and they'll get connected to these carriers. These corruptors down here, I initially told them to go down here for a second, but if I go attack move like right there now. These corruptors will go forward, these corruptors will go forward, these corruptors will come down, these corruptors will go down. They'll all spread out nicely. And now once he's grouped up like this, I throw a fungal at his army, and I bomb him. And then I can also, while I go with corruptors attacking, I also say, Lings, attack forward. Because again, I don't have broodlords, so I need the Lings to do something here. And that's it. Group 2 does its thing, Group 1 does its thing just for a second, while I line up my spells. And I'm lining up my spells while they're currently walking in to engage. All right, I don't need to micro my corruptors right now. They're not even in the fight yet. But I am telling them to engage though. And now we have bomb fungal going off, and he's clumped up really hard in my bomb fungal. It's gonna, like I said before, it's gonna do damage to carriers. But the bigger one here is it's gonna kill all the void rays. All the void rays are gonna die super fucking fast to this. And now once my corruptors and my lings are on A move, all I'm going to do then is I'm going to tab toggle here. I'm going to go group 2, focus fire a carrier. Group 3, fungal the army. Group 2, focus fire a new carrier. Group 3, fungal the army. And then group 0, apply a new bomb. And I'll probably tab it like that. 2, focus, 3, fungal, 2, focus, 3, fungal, 0, bomb. 2, focus, 3, fungal, 2, focus, 3, fungal, 0, bomb. Tilde bomb. Because you're pacing it. I have about enough time to focus fire a carrier entirely out to die, and then I can cast the fungal while they're doing that. While I've issued that command, I can fungal again, because now I'm not doing anything. And then as soon as I fungal, the carrier should be dead now. After I have time to line up a new fungal, I can go back to focus firing a carrier. And then finally the bomb is paced out like every third. Or second rather, whatever. Because it's a longer spell. It lasts longer, so I don't need to spam it as hard as I need to spam fungal. And then it looks like this. Fungal, focus fire. Focus fire, fungal. Focus fire, fungal, bomb. Focus fire. And it gets to a point too where like your infestors get kind of used up. Another thing I did to this fight that I didn't say, because there were Archons, is I tried to neural parasite the Archons. In case my Lings got stormed, I didn't want to have Archons just roasting my fucking Corruptors in the air that are trying to focus fire the carriers. So I tried to neural parasite some of his shit too, because the Void Rays, once the Void Rays are dead, you don't need to really spam the spells of fungal bomb nearly as much anymore. Instead, it's actually kind of better to neural parasite the carriers, because the fungal bomb combo is not going to really do a lot of damage to a carrier. Like I said before, you're much better off actually just sucking out like half of his fucking army with Neural Parasite at that point. But the only reason why I don't start with Neural Parasite is because if I ran over here and was like, fuck it, let's Neural Parasite, and his army is not pressured at all by fungal bomb, he could just focus fire my infestors with carriers. He could feedback them. He could storm them. He could kill them with Archons. Zealots could walk forward and beat their ass. Void Rays, as soon as they get within range and they just go, boop, they look at the infestor, it just explodes. There's a lot of damage his army can do if I don't set the fight up with control. And what control is movement speed. Fungal makes me control the fight really easy because his army's kind of like, oh, I can't move anywhere. It's stuck. It's really slow. And then the bomb is like just dropping the fucking hammer on his army. It just does a shitload of damage, which pops a lot of his DPS in Void Ray. It just explodes them. And then after we control it like that, then we can neural everything. And also by then, the Templar should also be dead. Because Templar die pretty fucking fast to fungal growth. A Templar dies in 3 fungals. So it dies relatively fast. Now we can just kind of regroup again. We can regroup. He kills my hatchery, whatever. But we're the ones that are taking better trades than he is. Like we're keeping him kind of starved out. And we'll go to the last fight. So it's kind of a waste of my lings, whatever though. But now in this fight, I am kind of once again doing the same thing. I'm spreading out my my corruptors to avoid any potential Archon or Storm damage. And in this fight, it's just Storm damage. I don't want everything clumped up to be just getting perfectly AoE'd. That's not the way you want to do it. And the way the way I could totally set this up would be spread out my corruptors in a concave around his army, and then just once again throw a bomb at one of the Void Rays and fungal it and just chain it. But if this army as well, here's another thing. If this army is mostly Void Ray, okay? If it's barely any carriers now and it's mostly Void Ray, I actually don't have to engage it. I can just spellcaster it to death, basically. And if he tries to start spreading his Void Rays out to to navigate against the AoE spell damage, then I can engage isolated Void Rays as they're spread out. But if he's going to stay clumped like this, I can chain spells until they die, guaranteed. So we got spells going off on him right now. Notice how we've initiated our shit. We have our army kind of up in here. We actually focus fired one of the carriers while he was kind of backing up. And we fungaled a lot of the Void Rays right now. We've actually focus fired the second carrier. And now look what I'm doing with my spellcasters. Or my corruptors. I'm actually running them away. I'm not staying in this shit. This is a lot of damage that his Void Rays can possibly be doing right now. This is level 3 weapon prismatic alignment Void Rays, and there's 12 of them. They can annihilate my corruptors pretty fast. So instead what I do is I back my corruptors up away from the Void Rays because I can easily outrun them, and I just cast spells on his ass. I have a bomb in the center of his army and I'm fungaling him. Now the majority of his army is very slow. Now he's also going, ah shit, this is going really bad for me, let's run away. And what do? The second he turns around, I turn around and I reapply a fungal. And now he turns around again. If I wanted to play this as efficiently as I could, I should actually turn my corruptors back around again. And I should just chain the fucking fungal on his army. I actually stay in though. But the good thing about what's happening though, the one saving grace here is prismatic alignment. Right as I'm engaging him, his prismatic alignment is going to end. It's only going to be up for about 1 second. And when prismatic alignment ends, these Void Rays are a lot less scary. So prismatic alignment is now over. And now the Void Rays are doing significantly less damage to my corruptor. And they're all also like one shot from death. So we just killed them all. It was actually not a bad idea that I chose to do that. Because since my Greater Spire is so fucking late, I had no ground cover for my infestors, and my infestors actually died to the Zealots with charge, and the Archon was actually morphing, but it was 2 Templars storming, and the Zealots with charge actually killed my infestors. So engaging there wasn't the worst idea. We still killed the Void Rays with minimal losses of air. Best case scenario, though, would have been if I would have actually had a few Broodlords, and I could have dealt with the small ground army. Just like 6 or 8 broods is all I needed. And then there actually is one more fight. Okay. Now we have Broodlords for real this time. So now we have another addition to our army. And the way we're going to micro this is actually really easy though. This is super fucking easy. This is not hard to deal with. This army is pretty much all ground. But the way we're going to deal with this army now is we are not going to we should not prioritize bomb and fungal on 2 Void Rays. 2 Void Rays is pretty fucking worthless. Instead, what we should do with our current army, what we have Lings coming out in production right now. We have Broodlord, Corruptor, Infestor, and 1 Viper. What we should do is we should instead prioritize fungaling his ground army so that my Infestors can continuously kite his army and my Broodlords can continuously kite his army, and I just literally go like this. Broodlords attack, run away. I don't ever click his army. I'll get closer. I'll get closer. Okay, here's the example now. He's a little closer. So what I'm telling my army to do here is I'm not going to say Broodlords attack a unit and then move and then attack a unit and then move. That's bad. That's such unnecessary actions with your mouse. Instead, what I'm going to do, because now my Broodlords are in range to fight him and he's chasing me, he's pushing into me, is I'm now going to grab my Broodlords with hit group 4 and I'm going to have my mouse and screen over here and I'm going to go like this. Attack the ground here, move. Attack the ground here, move. Attack the ground here, move. Because if I attack the ground over here, these units are still within range of the Broodlord's auto attack, so the Broodlords will turn around themselves and shoot his army, and if my mouse is over here, it's much easier to control the rest of my army as well. And then when I tell them to move, my Broodlords are moving during the time that their attack is on cooldown. Blinding Cloud is a complete waste here as well. It's really not worth it. Because what I'm going to do instead, while I am fungaling him, like the Viper is literally, it could be fucking deleted and it wouldn't matter here. It's not, literally not worth your time to try and cast a bomb. It doesn't matter. But what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to try and fungal his Archons so that my my Broodlords don't get run up on. My Corruptor and my Overseer can kill the Void Ray and the Observer so that my Infestors, if they needed to, could just burrow and not die. And then my Broodlords, if I can just get rid of the fucking Archons. These Broodlords are just, nothing can stop them. They can kill all the Zealots all day. So that's the goal here of what we're going to do. And then finally our Lings can come in and run in and just wipe out the rest later on. And lastly, if I gain control of the fight, I can just neural the Archons. The Archons are the only thing here in this fight that are actually scary now at this point. But there's not a lot of them, so I'm going to probably just win anyways. So there you go. I'm starting to kite the Broodlords. We're going to go for a Fungal. Juicy-ass Fungal to slow his army down. That was a really bad micro with my Corruptor, but whatever. Notice how we're fungaling the Archons. And we're just kiting our Broodlords. And now finally the Lings arrive. This fight was not microed the best. I'm not gonna lie. I watching myself play this, I microed this fight really terrible, but it still was fine because we had an overwhelming amount of supply. But now that the Lings are here, which is more just things that to get rid of his ground army. My Lings are fully upgraded melee and adrenal. His Zealots are 1-0. 0. His Zealots suck compared to my Lings. My Lings will annihilate the Zealots all day here. So what we're doing now instead is he's actually kind of shoved into me really hard. I'm just going to neural the Archons. I'll bring my Corruptors back to get rid of the Void Ray, but I will neural the Archons, and then it will be Archon, Broodlord, and Zergling versus just pure Zealot, which is ridiculous against the Zealot. All the Zealots will die super fast, and the fight will be over. And now all the Zealots are already dead. And now we can just kill the last Archons while they're still neural. And there you go. So, last thing I'll say, and then we'll move on. Kind of going back to it. My Infestors my Corruptors, and my Viper should all be either where the Broodlords are or further back even more. Like, you don't want to have your Infestors way the fuck out in front for no reason. They should always be at least under the Broods or further behind them. The Corruptors should only ever come forward if it's to kill an air unit or absorb damage from an air unit to cover your Broods, which is kind of the purpose of what they had here. But I microed it really bad. I should have moved the Corruptors this way and then down, because if I'm in the open airspace, I can't get hit by Archons. So that was a bit of a fail on my part. But my army should always be kiting back with the Broods. Like, I don't tell all my Infestors to move forward. Instead, I tell them to move back, and I just launch a Fungal at the army as it comes forward. Because he's coming towards me, so the distance is getting closed the whole time. So it's not going to be like I'm trying to tell an Infestor from here, where this Cryptor is, to cast the Fungal way the fuck down here. It's not going to be like that. It's going to be literally, I'm having my Infestors run away with the Broods, and I'm casting a Fungal within range pretty much already. And the way it kind of goes is, right now, this is how I'd micro it right now if I was playing this game right this second. 2, move up. 3, fungal, then move, like 3 immediately move and then fungal as well. Well, it's the other way around. 3 fungal and then move, because if you first move and then fungal, whatever Infestor you tell to fungal is gonna sit back there and go, I just fungaled, but I'm not moving now. I'm just gonna chill here until I die. So you don't want to do it like that. You wanna select your spellcaster group, cast the ability first, and then move, and do not use shift either. Just fucking do it. Because you're going to be, like, just cast it and then move right away. Because it's already in range anyways. And then that would be done. And then I would go to 4. And I would do the same thing again, already as well. So I would have my command here. I would have my mouse up here. Because I just said 3, fungal, and then move. And then while it's here, I would go 4, attack, move. 2, move. 3, fungal, move. 4, attack, move. Does that make sense? It's kind of like a rotation, where your mouse is not having to go back and forth, 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 back and forth. Your mouse is having minimal back and forth. The only time I ever move my mouse towards his army is to literally cast a spell. Because I can't go fungal there, move, because it'll fungal there. I want to fungal his army, obviously. So it's just having a pattern in your units. There is literally a pattern you can develop here to make it easier to micro your shit. But that's how I would do it. Again, Corruptor, move. Infestor, fungal, move. Corruptor, or Broodlord, attack. Then move. Corruptor, move again. Infestors, fungal, move. Broodlord, attack, move. Keep kiting it like that the whole time. And if he has a lot of voids too, I would have my Vipers also when I do my Infestors. And caster, I would also then have a Viper go bomb as well when I'm casting a fungal. And then move away. Hopefully that makes you guys understand a little bit more about how to micro a spellcaster army. It's not easy.